Hey guys, my name is Simpzy. How you all doing? Welcome back to some more Troy, A Total War Saga. Here today on the channel, we're back with episode 5 of my Achilles Let's Play. In today's episode, we're going to be continuing our war against the Sesopii and their allies. So, if you'd like the sound of that, feel free to leave the video a like, subscribe if you're new around here with notifications on, let me know in the comments, feedback and suggestions for the series, and we allow me to expand and conquer. So, we've got a distant shore event here, and we're going to allow the trade. There's an earthquake. Oh, I don't like that. Because we're expanding and conquering so quickly, we keep getting these bad RNG events. We're currently 74 turns into the Let's Play. In the last episode, we managed to finish off the Dorians and the Macedonian mountain men to the north. Now we're securing the western part of our northern kingdom. We want to try and finish off the Sesopii, who we started off war with against them in the last episode. And we might look to go to war against the Epirotti. Basically the men of Epirus. So guys, gotta say a huge thank you as well to the Creative Assembly for sending me a free early access code for Troy and making this Let's Play possible. So a huge thank you to them and their community team. Oh, that's an unlucky auto resolve. We lost to rank 7 of slingers. It's because they're such lightly armored. I do eventually want to phase them out once we get the big enough building chain for archers, heavy archers, but maybe if we can get like a high tier, now that we have their capital of harpies, we might be able to replace them quite quickly. Troy obviously is going to be out on the 13th of August for free on the Epic Games Store, so I recommend checking it out. Hera, Apollo, and Athena are going to help us out in this one. We've already managed to defeat 2 armies in the last episode towards the end against the Sesopii. So, the Sesopii. Yeah, so I don't know if they're going to have too many military forces left. We're going to be pushing into the region of Epirus, but we might sort of just go to war with their allies there. We are still the only at war with them. We're currently strength ranked 4. We currently occupy most of northern Thessaly and Epirus, I guess. We've still got a lot of friends towards Sparta and Ithaca. I'm still umming and ahhing who to confederate with, as both of them are quite splintered and fractured. Sparta has managed to rally up with Agamemnon's faction, so he seems to be a bit stronger. But Odysseus is sort of all over the place at the moment. Okay. Well, let's continue on the initiative. Achilles has access to some champions of Phthia, so we'll eventually try and bring those in. I quite like those unit stats. So we'll bring in 2 units of champions of the Phthia. They're a tier 3 unit. And we've also got some harpies here that we want to bring in, the better variant. So we'll quickly disband the ones we've got in here, and we'll bring in the better quality harpies. Hey, your first antagonist. Hippolytia of the Amazonians. Ah, so this is what this is. The ruler of the Amazonians decided to rally your warriors against you. The Amazonians need a place to go home and to live in peace. Once I defeat you, this dream will finally be configured. Okay, so history of enmity. Nothing really too much in current plans. So we've met our first antagonist. So this is a person we're going to have to defeat if we ever want to complete the Total War victory conditions. Ah, so each major faction in Troy has an antagonist. Now, I don't know if that changes every single time, but I would imagine one of the Trojans, Paris or Hector, would be my antagonist. However, the Amazonians have my number. Now, speaking of Paris, he's done quite well here. He's actually taking the city of Athens, and he's brought his beloved wife, Helen, to Attica, and Sparta, and My allies seem to be on the back foot. You'd think Agamemnon would join with Menelaus, then vice versa. So, we are at war with them now. They're strength ranked 1. If we could sort of cause an all-out war between... Yeah, because it's like we've got the Denarns. We usually have Achilles, and then you've obviously got Menelaus and his brother to the south in Arcadia. Towards northern Asia Minor, you have the Trojans and then the Amazonians. So these are the 3 to 4 superpowers which you're going to be able to see in a campaign. So for now, they're not too far away from me. You never know. There could very well Amazonian hordes could spawn in and around our territory, so we're going to have to watch out for them. I'm not too fussed about that, but we'll just have to see. Living Legend's fine. Hot-blooded Achilles is currently outraged. We've probably got 2 more wars I want to finish up on this western coast, because if we can have our backs towards the city, the better. So we'll send Achilles down further south towards Ithaca and the Odysseus-controlled lands, while Ajax focuses on the last of the Sessiope to the north. Okay, I don't know where these guys came from, but 9 and 5 units have just spawned out of nowhere. So we'll get Achilles to double back after he was heading south, and we'll allow Ajax to push this one down. They just haven't united, the Sessiope. But we'll push down against them there. Ajax should be able to wrap this battle up quite quickly. He's rank whopping 19 now. And settings we haven't had a fight against them. I might do a quick save. Oh, they got some harpies there. Let's do a quick save and a hard save. And let's fight this one on the battlefield. Hera and Athena are going to help us out. Let's use a sacrifice. Hey, we managed to get the RNG as well. So let's fight this one. So mostly coming up against clubmen. Got some harpies. Ajax army. 2 giants, mostly, well, we've actually been losing of our high units often in order resolve, so we've got 4 like absolute trash tier bowmen. Let's look at this whoa, look at this battle map. Look how much mud's in the middle of it. Wow. Okay. This is going to be interesting. So basically what I want to do for this fight, we have numerical supremacy. We want to try and wrap around and flank them where we can. Now, I have giants with Vanguard. So why can't... I want to try and deploy them behind the front enemy line if we can. So we can deploy them there. Maybe here. Like they can't... Oh, it's a shame we can't deploy right behind them. Oh, we can't deploy down here because of the cliff face. That's what that's doing. Alright, so we'll deploy our tier 1 giants into Vanguard deployment, and they should be able to rip-roar through. Look how menacing that is, hanging out in the deep woods of northern Greece in the forest. Ajax there, just going to muster the entire infantry. We've only got 2 slingers technically in this build. And then 1 javelin. So what we'll do is we'll just try and wrap around the enemy force as quickly as possible. Hit them hard. Like the German Blitzkrieg and Napoleon. Let's be aggressive and tenacious. Let's go. Straight up and go. We'll allow Ajax to try and snipe the enemy commander. Now the Sessiope, their general is an archer, and the balance of power is a little bit more towards their favour than it was in Auto Resolve. Potentially ammunition wise, and maybe the terrain as well. But here is the Sessiope archer. We want to try and initiate combat with him as quickly as possible, because Ajax is a formidable duelist. Now a spitting image of Achilles. So we'll get my skirmishers to try and quickly neutralize theirs. And we'll allow my clubmen to attack their infantry. Lock, hold them up into combat, and then we'll allow the rest to quickly wrap around. So there we go. We'll send 4 units around the right flank. We'll send an additional 4 around the left. And I've actually left the order for the giants to attack a little bit later than what I would have liked. Here are these max tier harpies as well. How fantastic do they look? We're going to be able to bring them into our unit pool. Tier 1 harpies, I keep on raving about them. Raving about them? Is that what harpies do? Bah, bah, I'm a harpy. Bah. What do harpies do? Harrow? I don't know. Anyway, I've been raving on about them because I quite like... Oh, okay, they've actually routed there. Tier 1 charging. Must have gone right into an arch unit there. Alright, try and wrap around there. Those giants aren't gonna... They're not gonna get there. They're just taking too long. Yes, but tier 2 harpies, I can't recommend them enough. Yeah, they're still coming, those giants. I'm coming, Ajax. They're like... I don't know, Eeyore? I don't know. Slowpokes are coming. So our front line is engaging theirs, and we're slowly but surely wrapping around. The units on the left that we have wrapped around on are in a full retreat. Ajax is only just dueling the enemy commander, and he should be able to make quick work of the archer. He's dropped his quiver. Oh, and gets in a couple of good shots there. Ajax with the slight counter swipe. And now he can take the initiative. Go on. Nice backhanded sword thrust. He seems to maybe have the better of him. No, but he can't, yeah. The archer gets him some cheeky shots. However, Ajax is going to deal the finishing blow. So we're going to try and run down as many of these guys as possible as we've caught them in the open field. So we're still going on our main objective of securing most of northern Greece. We're still not at a period just yet before I can attack Troy. We are going for a Homeric victory conditions, which means we need to destroy Paris. We need to destroy Hector and Priam in Troy itself. Achilles needs to be rank 27. We need to finish the chapter objectives, which we'll try and do here today, because once we finish with the Sessiope and like the men of Epirus here, we can probably start going down the path of looking to invade Troy. We might even be able to start in today's episode. We're going to be doing an hour-long episode here today, so strap yourselves in, make sure you're well hydrated, get yourself a good old water and a biscuit. Personally, I would recommend Tim Tams, but it's going to be a long one. And if you don't have Tim Tams, make sure you get some chocolate confectionery. Not sponsored by anyone. I'd love to get a chocolate sponsor, maybe even beef jerky or something. That'd be awesome. So Ajax has some fiery and feisty animations. I can't wait until I get the blood and gore DLC. It's going to make things look very nice. Okay, so antagonists change plans. Your enemies intend to stack any settlement you leave unprotected. Scouts report indication of soldiers growing bold and no. So this might mean that Amazonian units spawn and attack you. They change plans. We'll just have to see, I guess. But we're 76 turns in. We've only got 2 full stacks in operation. I want to try and leave for Troy with 3, and then I'm going to have to leave another 2 sort of to defend my lands. So we're still building up a Danaan Achaean empire, and Achilles is still only rank 22, so they've only got 2 provinces left to the south. We'll go and deal with them. Okay guys, so unfortunately we've been cut off here. We can't even push and finish off the Sessiope because Ajax the Lesser has gone and taken it, which is a shame. So we might as well peace out with them because we can't control the entire province anyway, and we can't get military access through there. So we might be able to get a decent amount of resources from them. They've got 57 grain, they've got 3.3k wood in the bag, because this particular area on the west coast, we've secured another crucial grain mine, but it's mostly stone. So now with the peace against the Sessiope, we can probably start a war here against Epirus, and then try and finish them off and take the entire province. So we're going to have a short, small war. There's only 2 settlements there. We'll send our scout up ahead. And Achilles can get ready to go, I guess. So let's have a look at them. We're still at war with the Amazonians, as they're my first antagonist. We cannot make peace with them, which sucks. So we're still going to have to watch out for lightning attacks. So looks like Ajax, even though they took that settlement and blocked me, we might be able to join their war and maybe get a military access, or no hardcore relations, maybe just a straight up payment or something. Okay, so we can get 2.1k wood from them. That's the best we can probably get. We want wood so we can upgrade our buildings in and around our territory. So war has been declared between myself and, well, Epirus. The Epiroti. We'll go and finish them off. Achilles is going to push and take their port city.
Don't hold back.
Hera and Athena coming on, and they seem to have better quality defensive units there. Yeah, I guess they're men from Epirus, so they're a cool and unique faction. We're going to absolutely uproot Pyrrhus's ancestors before he can attack Aeneas's ancestors, I guess. Okay, Achilles. Ajax. Maybe should have called him Hercules or something. That might be quite cool. Just because of the big old lion head. Achilles. Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Okay, so we should be able to auto-resolve this one quite clearly. We've still got Achilles' rage for 1 turn as well. We'll sacrifice to the gods, get an additional omen buff, and then we'll push north and try and take the last of the out of the brave men of Epirus. Sweet as, decisive victory. We still lost 414. The auto-resolves, from what I've noticed in Troy, A Total War Saga, are harsh. But as there's only 2 provinces up towards here, and we have time to convalesce, we're actually going to loot and occupy. I don't tend to like to raid and sack and hit factions that I want to sort of take under my control quite quickly that have a high Achaean influence. This one's only 9%. Does look like the Sessiope have an army nearby. We could get some chariots in our army build, especially if you go down the Cult of Ares, depending on... The thing is, we have huge growth debuffs because I quite like to go with the outraged of Achilles. I like that early buffs, so... And they got, yeah, Temple of Ares, yeah, so they're actually... even the AI is taking the initiative to go with the Ares/Chariot combination. I do recommend it once you get your hands on Troy Total War.
Your path to victory. Let us get this over.
If I was to super for peace, it would only be 2% anyway. So they've got a full stack hiding out in their old capital. Okay, well, it's their capital now, I guess, yeah. Gorgie, okay. I'll move Ajax in there. Alright, well, we'll do a quick save and a hard save, and I'm going to fight this one here today. So we fought a battle against the Sessiope. Now we're going to be facing the brave men of Epirus. Who have been clinging to their western coastal home. Okay, let's fight this one on the battlefield. Achilles is bringing up his army, mostly silver to bronze chevrons. We have 2 champions of the Phthia, a lot of spearmen, 4 two-handed clubs, 4 slingers, 2 harpies, and some cavalry as well. Not too bad of an army build, very functional for going around conquering, particularly with Achilles. He doesn't actually start in and around too many really high tier lords that he has to fight. Agamemnon and Menelaus are sort of hanging down in the south. We've got Ajax, who we've rallied up with. Was it Lycian? No, it's not Lycian. Whoever those guys are off the coast, they managed to get wiped out by a rando faction. Maybe these guys in the east might put up a bit of a fight. So we'll try and divide our army where we can. There's 2 vectors of attack straight up. We'll allow our skirmishers to try and rain fire and death upon the enemy, who can protect our infantry as we push up. But here are the Harpies for the first time in our army build. We saw a bit of a sneak peek, bit of a tease of them last time around, but we've got some new brand spanking fandangle Harpies in our build, and they're going to perform tremendously on the battle map from what I've experienced so far in battles and in custom battles. So we'll allow Achilles to push up, and of course Ajax. We're coming up against 2 defenders. Very rarely anyone can stand up to Achilles in one-to-one combat. I would say maybe now, stats wise, Hector might be able to, but he would have to be a similar rank. So fortunately enough for me, we didn't actually need to deploy any units on this left hand side, as my reinforcements, luckily, were going this way. So we're going to be able to surround the 20 stack. This seems to be a bigger and larger battle than we had against the Sesopi, because they were sort of hanging out, these guys, I guess. So we'll try and skirmish out where we can. We'll move our Harpy Slingers up. I'm curious to see how they perform overall. But now with some added boiled leather and armor, they should be able to be a bit better in auto resolve and whatnot. We've nearly destroyed that entire unit of spears, just allowing these Harpies to focus at it. My Slingers are focusing on a spear unit that's now pushed up near Achilles. And my Centaur cavalry is looking for an opportunity on the left centre to swing around, flank and cause some mayhem. 58% still. So there's still like really only 3-4 ways to push across. We've got a full stack pushing one, and if we can get there quick enough we'll be fine, but we've got a lot of units pushing through one choke point. Ajax is really going to have to make a stand to push through there. But let me know feedback and suggestions in the comments where you allow me to expand and conquer. I personally think I should try and confederate with ODYSSEUS and Menelaus, but maybe you might disagree. Achilles never had the best relationship with Agamemnon and stuff. Achilles? He's more than likely to spear me than to speak to me. Oh, God, that movie's hilarious. That's probably one of my favourite, like, obscure quotes from that movie. He's more than likely to spear me than to speak to me. There's so many of those lovable and enjoyable history movies in the early 2000s that I look back on with nostalgia so fondly. I don't, obviously, the historical critiques and sort of blockbuster history, I like to call it, kinda. Like, I was just thinking about the other day, like that King Arthur movie. Like, even that one was like, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot, I like that movie. The one with that Skarsgård guy. But now, like, I think if I watched that again, I'd be like, what is this movie? Like, the Vikings have Merlin helping them out and stuff, like, what? Okay, so Achilles is now pushing up. There's so many of those good history movies that are like,
Hey, you have lost a unit.
Popcorn. Popcorn movies. I think they're pushing a little bit up here. I don't know why, but it's starting to get a little bit laggy. We are playing on the largest unit scale, by the way, as well. I think it's extreme or whatever they call it now. I don't think it's ultra. I think it's extreme. The giant vanguard is pushing to help up. Unit-wise, what I'm most disappointed about the early epic units that we have at our disposal are the giants. Maybe... I do know the end tier giants are quite good, but the investment might be a little bit too much. Like, we can get harpies a lot earlier, and the centaurs are good for running down enemy combatants, because you do fall into a bit of a tendency of not being able to run down the enemy in the open field.
Victory.
So Achilles and Ajax are trying to snipe out the enemy lords, but they are struggling a little bit. The centaur cavalry is currently skirmishing out with those spears. We've got one unit pushing up, just protecting our skirmishers, but maybe we just need to push. Yeah, let's send 5 units up through the center, and another 5 as well, just to go on and help. So surprisingly, 1 unit stopped them in the choke point. Now 3 are actually holding me there. Achilles can't seem to break through and find... yeah, so he's only just hit the enemy general there. There's a lot of spearmen bogging him around here. We'll send our scouts in, incredibly lightly armored, but they might be able to cause a surround on that unit, and they might be able to run down a couple of these skirmishers. These lighter scouts don't have very good missile block damage. Okay, so now Ajax has finally got into combat with the Lord, and we'll try and finish off their defender champion. Fortunately for me, they're low level defenders, so my fighters, who are incredibly tenacious and are fantastic in 1v1 combat, should be able to make quick work of them. Ajax and Achilles should be able to carve through the enemy generals like carving a cake. We're giving chase to some of the spears that are routing, but they seem to be defending their town square quite well. We'll continue to push up and allow our skirmishes, but I'm quite impressed that Ajax's entire host has been caught here in a narrow corridor. Yeah, and they're really struggling to push. Maybe if Ajax or Achilles can finish off one of the legendary lords, we might be able to cause a rout, cause a trickle, and then potentially a flood. But I do plan to do daily content on Troy, so stay tuned for that and more future campaigns. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments section down below, and I'll try and answer as best I can. Feel free to ask me anything. Okay, so now that Lord's down, now maybe we can stop those others trying to push up. So my slingers are trying to assist and break through the absolute meat grinder, which is halting Ajax's forces. They're throwing a lot of people in there. Giants, spearmen, and professional swordsmen can't seem to break the lock. Achilles' force is the one that's going to have to wrap around, flank, and help. So we've nearly broken through this right-hand side here, but there seems to be a lot of choke points. Battles-wise, I really quite like it in Troy. The defensible positions and the narrow battles I personally like and prefer. The battlefields are noticeably smaller than Rome 2 and Total War Attila, but I think that makes sense because you're not constantly running infantry down, because there's a severe lack of cavalry in Troy, which is historically accurate. So normally, you'd able in Total War Attila, Rome 2, you'd able to have like cataphractoi, heavy Roman equites, sort of run down, wrap, and flank, and you have these huge counter charges and punches. In Troy, there's a severe lack of that, just in army build composition. So I guess the battlefields have to reflect that. Okay, so Ajax and Achilles is now just helping out, and my skirmishers have pushed up and they're firing over this lake, which is quite cool. We've managed to break through their blobs, as the 2 generals have now fallen to the spear of Achilles and to the sword of Ajax. We just need to start the countdown, and then the settlement will be ours. But you've got to give it to Epirus. They're making us fight tooth and nail for their city. They're brave,
You will
loyal
soon hold
men,
the enemy's victory point.
fiercely independent. Even now, nationalism surges through their veins. Damn you, men of Epirus! Whoa! An Ajax there with an absolute power thump. Did a bit of a Thor there. Threw his sword into the ground. 12 men fell into the dirt. So we lost about 600. They deployed 1.2k. Yeah, Chevron's rise. I don't blame the men of Epirus. They don't have that much battle experience. The Sesopii, or the Sesopi, they were fighting a lot more. They carved out a rather large kingdom. Oh, we lost the Harpies. 200 kills they got. Fantastic. The Slingers did quite well as well. But 260 for gold chevrons. The Harpies are only brown. They're only just new. And we'll loot and occupy the capital. And we should be able to finish off Epirus. Yes, we've destroyed them here today. Fantastic. Well, we'll replenish and repair. And look, there might be some smaller minor factions, but we can deal with. But we have to watch out for the Amazonian incursion. Let's drop a edict there to get the supply buff. But this is what we currently occupy and own. 79 turns into the Let's Play. That's what Sparta owns as well.
I can't.
Okay, guys, so we've actually been war decked by a couple of minor factions to the north. Nothing to be concerned about. However, we're going to be declaring war against the Phthalians there on the coast. They are actually of the Dorian faction. Yeah, along with the Sesopi, so they're ethnically the same. They have one huge province off the coast here on an island. We can't join a war against them or anything, but we're going to have to push out and attack their island home. I think maybe their king might be renowned or known. I don't recognize him, but he seems to have a pretty cool crown. So we'll push out and deal with him. So we'll move up Ajax to have the first blow. And then we'll allow Achilles to help and follow up with him. Now, I was tempted to leave them as I didn't really perceive them as a threat. However, we're probably never coming back to this western part of our continent with our two armies. So, you're better off having your back and empire towards the corner of the map, just as a defense. Oh, it's a 50-50. Oh, okay. Can we somehow... Yes. Somehow just hit the army outside and launch a field battle. Because a long protracted siege I'm not particularly interested in. Especially when they're sitting 17 in and around there. Good, we can engage them on the field. So it's a lot more in our favour. Let's chuck a save. Oh, so no, the settlement garrison is going to come out and fight this one. Yeah, because actually trying to properly siege that would be more difficult. And I personally prefer open field battles. If I have a choice, always, I will go that over a siege any day of the week. So let's do a quick save and a hard save. Alright. Hard save is complete. Let's get stuck into them. Alrighty, so there's only 2 units towards the front there, 2.7 to 2.5, okay. So, it's pretty even, I think. We'll take the dry day, easy as. Okay, so there's the 2 units in the front. Reinforcements coming from the back. Okay. So, we'll grab the slingers into their own group. This army is obviously heavily infantry focused, so we'll try and match that. I have a feeling that their army could deploy behind them as well. So we'll allow Ajax to push up and give chase. We will pivot to the left if need be. But Achilles is coming behind us. Oh, so they're now trickling in, the larger of the two. So quickly just reform that. There's a... Whoa, there's buildings in the way? That kind of sucks. They can't actually push straight up there. They have to push on a bit of an angle. So allow Ajax to push up and contend with that. They do have the advantage of having 3 generals on the campaign map, which can be a little bit difficult to deal with if we don't gain the initiative on them quite well, because we only can lock hold down in 1v1 2. One is going to be wreaking havoc a lot. So maybe Ajax pushing up here can just try and quickly divine challenge the Warlord and finish him up as quickly as possible. So the enemy reinforcements are coming in, along with Achilles' infantry. We'll try and match them here, but this is a bit crazy. I think I just need to pause and reorganize my army build, because even sometimes not all the units do come in. So we'll rally up my skirmishers and then my infantry. Okay. So skirmishers can be grouped up there. Let's get every single one of my infantry units. Let's allow them to start at the left-hand side, and we'll pull you there and group that up as well. We'll send Ajax to still deal with the Warlord, and Achilles can push up here. Fortunately enough, unfortunately enough for me, they seem to be deploying in the forest. We don't have much line of sight. But here is the enemy king. Achilles should be able to make quick work of him. Ajax is now dealing with the Warlord on our right. Oh, so they're actually both... Yeah, because that's a different general. The enemy reinforcements are both going there. So my right-hand side is actually clear. I'm surprised that 2 of the reinforcing armies actually came from that side. So there's going to be a massive fight in and around the trees here. If you do press spacebar in Troy, you can see. And you can actually turn, I think, the foliage trigger a little bit. But here is the enemy king. He looks quite old, but he's got a cool looking crown. Let's conquer this island for Achilles. For the Phthia. Right. So we'll push Achilles up to try and tank and fight him. My skirmishers are slowly but surely trickling in as reinforcements, while Ajax is finishing off the Warlord here. Continue up. We might have even routed that. We'll try wrap around with my centaurs. We'll just have to see. These guys just got incredibly exposed as the Vanguard Giants. They started off alright, but my skirmishers got a shot. Didn't do the best. So now that they're interlocking us, there seems to be a couple of units that are not pinned down. So we'll try and pivot and flank and deal with them. And rotate up and around. We'll allow Achilles to go in hand-to-hand combat, but fierce fighting is now occurring in the forest. Fighting in the forest obviously reduces combat effectiveness, so this is going to be a tight one. However, I think in Troy they changed the missile projection rate. From what I can remember, I think in Rome 2 and Attila, sometimes your archers either burn down if they've got flammable shot forests, or the projectiles just get absolutely shredded through the forest. I think they made a change in Warhammer that projectiles can still very effectively fight within the forest. They really don't see it as a hindrance whatsoever. But Achilles is in hand-to-hand combat, and there's even looks like there's some spear iterations, but a good strike there, a good thrust with Achilles there through the old man's bows. He should be able to make quick work of the old Warlord. Even might be getting some friendly fire against him a little bit there as well. Okay, so they're still dealing with them. We did manage to flank with some of those units, but as always, I do my battles live and try and get my cinematic shots on the way as well. So you sacrifice that instead of having cinematic battles. Someone I really do admire with that is Surreal Beliefs. He like records the episode and then goes back again and records over the battles, and they look great. I don't know how he gets that fantastic cinematic smoothing with the camera. It looks awesome. I think like work rate and work ethic, like the discipline of some of the Total War YouTubers, is some of the best in like YouTube gaming. Yeah, I really admire Legend of Total War and Surreal Beliefs though, because they are constantly uploading. Like I try my best to like try and like keep up, like upload wise with them. I could care less about views and stuff, but like upload wise, that's something I really do admire. They are always up and on the grind. Okay, Ajax should be able to finish off the Warlord here now.
Thetis has claimed
Hey! Ding ding ding! Time out! Ding ding ding! Top of morning! So Ajax has now won the right flank for us, and he should be able to swing around and deal with the enemy general. Oh, he's got some club warriors in and around the way. Like I tried my best, but I really can upload one video a day on this channel. I upload one video on the Simpzy FIFA/sports channel, and then we've got the strategy game channel. But it looks like most of the enemy army is now in a full retreat. We'll try and give chase and run down as many of them as they can, because we still have to go through a siege in the end. If we don't eliminate the entire garrison, they're just gonna run back into the city from whence they came. Yeah, go check out if you're interested in soccer, interested in English football. I have a sports channel on Simpzy where I upload daily, and obviously this is a strategy game channel where I upload strategy games. So there's no harm in letting me know as well what strategy games you'd like me to let's play in the future. CK3 is around the corner as well. September I think that's coming out. I don't know if I'm going to get early access for that. I need to make a contact with them, I think. But I did get Imperator Rome. I get the Hoi DLCs often, so just need to make contact, I think. So that's probably the next strategy game coming up, along with the roadmap of DLC for Troy. I believe the Amazon's DLC will be available for free if you link your Total War Access account and Epic Games account. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that, because I don't know. Yeah, so they're making people sign up to Total War Access. Before it was mostly just wallpapers and musics and stuff, but yeah, I think you get that for free. Roadmap wise, I think Ajax and then multiplayers sort of next. I could really care less about multiplayer, to be honest. I do not play it, but it's been sparse on updates and stuff, and had ripped stuff out of it, even from Shogun too, so maybe if I played it more. But I play co-op multiplayer more so in Total War. I never actually play online multiplayer. I don't play much multiplayer online games anymore. I personally prefer solo campaigns. It's much more chill, much more enjoyable. We'll try and run down the last of the defenders here, so at least their command structure and generals are incredibly weakened. Okay, so we lost 800. Whoa, yeah, so we actually slightly outnumbered them. But we were able to decimate nearly 2.4k upon the battlefield. Archers, swordsmen did most of the work and heavy lifting. Now that the load screens are so quick these days, I can barely have time to read the casualties sustained and inflicted. So that army's now been pushed out, the enemy garrison's been very destroyed, and now we should be able to push upon the city with impunity. Let's take their island home. Let's perform a sacrifice, and let's chuck a quick save. So even though the garrison, most of it survived, we didn't do enough of a dent into it to get a good auto save. But Achilles is going to potentially finish off the ethnic cultural line of Dorians. Let's take this city. What can lose? And now we have access to sirens. I don't particularly know if I'm going to use them, but I'll talk about sirens in a bit.
You ask too much.
Okay, so my antagonist of the Amazonians there, most of Achilles' adversaries are to the north. He's still currently outraged. But yeah, sirens. Athena, Apollo, Hera quite high. Sirens are a new... they're an interesting unit because they're probably actually more well designed for multiplayer. We want to try and take this entire region here. Just rebels. So Achilles and Ajax are going to deal with them. We might even be able to peace out with some of these guys to the north. But essentially what they do is they can draw enemy units towards them, which is really, really interesting. So if there's a frontline position and you have sirens in your army, you can actually click on him and he will keep on charging at the sirens without AI or human control. So if you want to finish off a full unit completely, get all your skirmishers to focus and fire, that is how sirens work in Troy, A Total War Saga. Quite cool, quite an interesting unit. The Gathering of the Wolves. Maintain 10 units of the following. So we finished that epic mission. And now we're nearly 90 turns into the campaign. I've managed to move my armies to Trickia, and we're going to start the event chain of slowly but surely coming to Troy, as we've got most of Thessaly under our control and 3 armies in operation. The next mission is moved to Skyros. We've managed to get Patroclus in house. I don't know why that popped up, but Achilles' famed friend and fighter and Ravager, that's his class there, has come about. So we've got 3 full stacks now. I have finally got a decent army build that I like. We're still going down the Homeric victory. We've done 4 out of the 12 chapter objectives. Achilles is nearly ranked 27. But Paris has somehow been destroyed because he confederated with Hector. I think that's what happened. Homeric-wise, we've only hit 34 out of 100. So we're definitely going down the Homeric path. Achilles is still outraged. So we need to move him to Troy. So basically, we need to move him to Skyros for now. Athena, Apollo, Hera still quite high. So we have nearly at 3 full stacks in operation. And we've got some armies defending as well. We currently occupy Epirus and Thessaly now. Alliance-wise, Ajax the Lesser is holding central Greece. We also have the 2 major factions that we're sort of allied with, being Sparta and Agamemnon. Yeah, I still should have think that probably it's the other way around. And we've got Ithaca with Odysseus, of course. So, we're still not at war with the Trojans just yet, but we want to make preparations. So, we're strength ranked 2. Can we get any better quality alliances? But Sparta and Ithaca seem to actually be allied with them. Hector is strength ranked 1 with 34 settlements. I'm 2. So I must be somewhere between Sparta and 3rd, who has 23 as well. But 34 regions? That's a hell of a lot to go with. The Homeric victory, we need to take Troy, of course. Finish off Hector. And the 3 factions in the objectives. So it looks like Sparta would want a defensive alliance and potentially military. Now, because they're at war with so many people, I have been hesitant not to get alliances with them, but we're at the point here now where I want to look east. I want to make preparations so we can fight Trojans maybe even in this episode if we've got enough time, or towards the next. So we'll start off with negotiations here with Menelaus of Sparta, who I'm sure has Agamemnon in his, well, faction. They occupy most of Attica and Athens. Oh yeah, they took it back from Paris, I guess. Yeah, they threw him back into the sea from whence he came. Paris did quite well. Started an overseas invasion force, but got caught. So we're going to be able to get a lot of money here. 500 gold, a lot of resources, rather. We're going to get a lot of gold and resources. Not money. There's no money in Troy. For the military, we might be able to squeeze out a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Copper and wood. So it's still 60. You can send an ultimatum to them, but then you go at war. I'm not going to risk it. Maybe if there was different strength ranking. But I don't know why Odysseus is so negative against me. Ajax the Lesser still hanging out. We've got some others to the north. Knossos. Let's just try and maybe get some non-aggression packs with factions that aren't fighting Denan/Achaeans. Just squeeze out some economical resources where we can, and then we'll continue on the chapter victory conditions. So we're about to do, what is it? Is it number 5? Yeah, so the fall of Skyros. So we just need to move Achilles here. I have no ambition of warring the inhabitants of the island, as I want to push eastward against the Trojans. Achilles is here with his brand spanking new army. A lot of champions of the Phthian, which are unbreakable. Achilles is now ranked 25. Ah, okay. And he's got heavy archers in his build as well. So, we've got a couple of options. So, okay, but Diops is dead. He's not there anymore. So I don't know if that matters. So we can execute him. We can spare his life. Let's execute him because we can't take the province because the Lycians or whoever the guys were to hang around there, we can't get them. And we get a huge buff there with Achilles because he needs to be ranked 27 before we can even attempt to take the city of Troy. Well, I guess you can whenever you want, but we can't attempt to challenge and complete our Homeric victory conditions. So using Achilles, win 3 battles against the following tribe, the Trojans. Okay. We've already defeated one Trojan faction that was hanging around near Larissa. Annex Euboea. No, I don't particularly want to do that. Okay, so 6 out of 12. We need to start a war against the Trojans. Well, we'll try and get a landing pad and push against them. I think striking the island of Lesbos, and then... Why is she down there still? That's weird. That's actually so funny.
It's uplifting.
Okay, so we're going to sail to Lesbos as a launching pad. Then we'll try and take Trojas, which is Paris's former territory. Now, I don't know if the game's over, because this is super funny. Because Paris invaded Greece. He left Helen in Greece because he confederated with Hector. So Menelaus has his wife back. So do we still need to attack Troy? Is the war over? No, we cannot forgive. We cannot relent. And it does look like, with the war looming against the Trojans, that the Spartans are still fighting it out. Taking Lesbos will be a good launching pad. So we have Ajax and Patroclus coming along with us, which is hilarious. Only time will tell, I guess, how long he lasts. He sort of spawned out of nowhere, so he's not the most higher command. We've had to replace a high-ranking general in his stead. 6 and 7, so not the most strong Spartan army that they can send, but hey. It's better than none, helping us out. We're in the deep blue now. Okay, so we still can't get a confederation with Sparta, minus 30. Maybe if we join their war, they might be more inclined to do that. 8.3, because, yeah, we might be able to bypass some of their military alliances as well. Also getting some crucial resources. Whoa, 10k grain. We'll try and... Yeah, it's because they've got a lot. Wood is... Like, we've already got 34k. Wood is going to allow us to upgrade our buildings back at home. So we'll try and go with a mixture of the two. Let's get some wood and grain. Groot. Okay, that's done. Now, does that change? Still 31. I don't know why that is. Ithaca don't want anything. Neither does Ajax.
Achilles is a...
So be it. Okay, well, now they're at war with Hector of Troy. Paris has rallied up with him, and their father Priam is hanging out in Troy, so we don't need to declare war against them. But we've managed to join Menelaus and his kingdom of Sparta, more or less his kingdom of Arcadia now. But Hector's rocked up to 39 provinces. I'm second with a lot less, which is crazy. However, we will potentially have some allied forces coming with us, also some Asians there as well. But Achilles is now going to push in with 9 clubmen of the Phthia, champions of the Phthia, 2 units of spears to deal with anything like anti-large, essentially. And then we've also got bowmen. Ajax has a similar army, and I've managed to eradicate those giants, as I really don't like them in my army build, nor with the lighter centaurs. We'll sacrifice to the gods, and we'll take the island of Lesbos, securing the Harpy replenishment initiative, I guess. But our first real battle against Hector of Troy. Lesbos will fall under Denan control. Only lost 120. But we're going to slowly but surely progress our way north to dealing with the Trojans. Troy has a 20 stack, and there's usually a 20 stack in and around there. Achilles is basically competent enough to wipe out any major hero in the campaign map, mark my words. However, the Trojan garrison and armies in and around is going to be hard to take it head on, but it can be done. Total war victory wise, we're still going towards it, but Homeric, we only have done 12 out of 6. We've done 6 out of the 12. We need to we need to win 3 more battles against the Trojans to continue that, and also take Troy, of course. Okay, using Achilles' army, yeah, so we just need to win 2 more, and we get more bonuses to Achilles. We've nearly got him up to rank 27, which I believe is the max cap for heroes in Troy. I don't think they can go any higher. Patroclus is only 2, so we'll put a couple little buffs in for him, but I don't know, I might be better off just replacing him with another general. He really spawned too late.
That's clear enough.
There must have been a mission that I delayed, potentially. I don't know. Okay, let's continue on the initiative. Let's conquer all of Lesbos where we can. So Sparta still doesn't want a coalition because it's minus 30. What about...
No disguises here. Friend.
What?
Just honest words.
Oh, because I'm at war with the Trojans? Well, it looks like Odysseus and myself are going to confederate, but his empire's so fractured. Like, he's even got territory down there in Knossos.
No disguises here, friend.
Well,
just honest words.
Odysseus, the Rat King I like to call him, because he's very similar to Skaven in Warhammer 2, if I'm being honest. Like, they don't even hide it. He can build... he can... What's this? Oh, a shrewd plan. So he can actually help us out in the siege of Troy now that we've confederated. Huh. Yeah, he can build, like, essentially underway cities. He also has, like, stalkers as a unit, which is quite hilarious. But we've managed to bring Ithaca under our control, and even some territory in and around Knossos. I was prioritizing to get Menelaus and Sparta on our side, but yeah, because we would have had Agamemnon, but I don't know why he doesn't want to join. That sucks. Regardless, Odysseus is a really interesting character because he's a bowman, and we don't actually have any of those in our build. Most of them we have aggressive, tenacious fighters. And now, usually when you confederate with someone, you hemorrhage like financially. He only had one, or yeah, he's only got like one army. Let's have a look at his army build. So he's got Odysseus Boarhelm. He's only rank 13, which is quite low. So what have they gone down with? Charge replenishment. That's good. I wish you could reset all this because because sometimes depending, like you want to try and confederate once the faction's built up, but sometimes they can really grief. The warriors of Ithaca are quite like to look at those. Yeah, I can't speak properly. Odysseus Midnight Stalkers, and he also has some guerrilla stalkers as well. And he's got some chariots in there. So it's going to take quite some time for Odysseus to even get over to Troy. However, Odysseus has a couple of unique abilities to actually take Troy. So I haven't played as Odysseus, but I do know he can either... He's the one who hatches the plan for the Trojan horse. He can also have access to Trojan horse siege towers. In the tech tree, I think most Denan factions can get that, but we might be able to adopt that for ourselves. We've got a lot of generals here. Agents-wise, you might have had a couple as well. But I thought, because of just like how big his empire was, I thought he might have had a little bit more. He's got Kephallonia here. Yeah, and a couple others, yeah, spread about. But unfortunately, guys, it is time to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. We've had a massive episode here today. We started off with wrapping up the wars against the Thesopi. We went to war with the men of Epirus and the men in the islands off the coast of there. We're going down our Homeric chapter objectives. War has been declared officially between Achilles of the Phthian and Hector of Troy. A coalition, a confederation has been hatched between myself and Odysseus. We're going to be supporting and being supported and helped out by Menelaus, who somehow managed to snatch back his wife Helen, as I guess Paris has bent the knee to Hector, his older brother. So to finish off and wrap up this campaign, Homeric victory wise, we need to finish off the chapter objectives, which will continue straight into the next episode coming out tomorrow, midnight in Australia, 3 PM British Standard Time in Londinium. That's when that's going to be coming out. And we'll continue on with the Trojan campaign. We could very well have the Siege of Troy in the next episode, depending on how well the Trojans defend their lands. Like, the only reason we probably wouldn't is if they deployed like 5 full stacks and in stopping us in taking Lesbos or something. I don't know. It'd be quite hard for us to not have the Battle of Troy in tomorrow's hour-long episode. So thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more videos on the channel. Feedback and suggestions for the series are welcome in the comments. Much love from Australia. Peace out. Unfortunately, guys, it is time to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the comment section down below your feedback for the series, and if you'd like to see more, that's the best way to ensure more content. Leave a dislike if you're not enjoying the series. Check out my social media links if you want to stay connected with me. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all in the description below. Patreon and merchandise link in the description below, along with the Steam group. Come and join the community on Steam. And on that note, unfortunately, I have to end the video here. Thank you very much for watching once again. Make sure to take care of yourselves. Go out and have a fantastic rest of your day. My name has been Simpzy. Goodbye.